All right, this is another put your money where your mouth is game. Um, can do all the studying in the world, but if we don't play, we're not going to get any better. So, I have not analyzed this game. Hasn't been gone through with an engine. So we're going to analyze this together. This is a game I played today. And I think one takeaway, one of them, there are probably many. I lost this game, but one takeaway is your mindset or general affect while playing. I can tell you I struggled in this game to concentrate, to stay focused, and to really look at it. Sometimes, if you have some coffee or you just have those days, or at least I do, days where you're just kind of more jittery than normal. And today is kind of that day. I'm a little wound up more than usual. I mean, this is kind of normal, but more than I like to play chess. How about that? So we go d4, and then this is part of what we do. I don't know what e3 is, just closing down the center immediately. So I go play c5, c3, and since I played c5, I may as well take in the center because that's what I want to do. They did open up this diagonal here, but throughout the game, I really don't find a good place to play it. This is like not a London, but you know what? Maybe it's the Collie system or the Ready. I don't know. Maybe it's the Collie system. But at the Collie system, I'm pretty sure you line up everything behind. I don't really know. All I know is we are foregoing the Benko ideas because they have everything staged up here, and I wanted to keep everything because I knew. So at this point, kind of going through the mentality, I knew that my e-pawn was eventually going to get pushed to solidify the center. And so with my pawn structure going this way, I figured it would be best to keep my pieces kind of within the bubble. I figured we're going to be playing on the queen side this game because both of our pawn structures are looking queen sidey. And so knight f3, bishop d6, now I'm just trying to develop. I want to get my king safe. They are like, I'm playing in the center. I want to get my king safe. Ended up not really mattering because I didn't push for anything. At this point, I am like, how am I going to continue developing? Right? Bishop d2, bishop d7 seems kind of passive to me. I was thinking of maybe doing another situation where I plant my rook or my bishop on a6 and try and trade off the light squared bishops. That plan doesn't really come to fruition because they block down. I mean, this time it really felt like my opponent was the one that had the control. Very symmetrical position. Crazy symmetrical position if you look at it, actually. Outside of this one knight being placed slightly different, it's a complete symmetrical position. So now I want to get my light squared bishop off. Now that this side's been closed down, I'm like, I don't know what to do here. And as you can see, my opponent is very comfortable in this position. They are playing a system-based opening, it looks like. Everything has its place, and I'm not sure how to progress. So maybe this is a situation where back here, let's go through the game, and then we can analyze it a bit with a few ideas. Very locked up position. I'm thinking of trying to push my pawn here to maybe just start opening up files and lanes. I'm wanting to get my pieces off the back rank. Development, I've created the poor man's battery, not the best battery in the world. Now that they've kind of more or less completed their development, they want to go ahead and break open the center. And this is a great time for it if you look at it, right? They're going to win this exchange, kind of. Or it'll be maybe even. But this move is exactly what they want, right? And it gives them what they want. So takes, knight takes my best defender away, and then queen takes, and we're already threatening mate here. Move 15. And here I thought, right? This looks to me like a free pawn until I realized part of that whole sequence was to take my best defender away. And so I kind of have to play something to defend this mate. I don't want to weaken my dark squares so much. And so here I knew I would lose the pawn. It didn't occur to me that they took with check, so that sucks. But now they have a chance to get the pawn and get away. Doesn't feel great to lose a pawn like that, but hey, we can play on. And here, my pieces I can't take because of this. I need to start moving my stuff. So now I'm thinking, okay, worst placed piece. The piece not doing anything was the knight being dominated, so let's start moving this around. If I move it, my pieces can start working together to get a tempo on the queen, but the queen's not doing a lot, right? I do think this was here so that I can't mess up their pawn structure. I don't think this is the best move. I do think it allows me a little more counterplay. So now we go up on this. Bishop, they finish their development perfectly fine. Further protecting the pawn. G6. So so part of my problems is like I can't see a good follow-up, right? So we say we get this tempo on the queen. They just go here. And what are we doing? Right? There's not, well, hold on. Tempo on the queen. They are looking a little light on squares now that I'm looking at it, right? Can't go here, so they can come here. Well, we can use the red, right? Here. No. Maybe. If they want to trade queens, but then they would want to trade queens. So this would be a good move for them with air quotes. I can't come here. I don't think you could come here. And so here. And so out of all the squares they could go to, I mean, there's the joke, right? Would be those two. So the critical line I'd have to look at would be bishop d5, queen c3, maybe something like queen b5, or actually, hold on. Here. Maybe now would be fine, right? No, maybe not. Because you're still dealing with, what do we do here? They've defended their bishop. I go ahead and jump my knight in. They push their bishop back. And then here, I have a few ideas. None of them are great. I did have, briefly looking at, knight takes 8 here. If we do all the good stuff, we're just piece down. A clean piece down. And oh, ho, ho, we get a check. Nice. it's not as well. Let's not do that. And we don't really have an attack. I go ahead and trade off the rooks. Getting this out the way, I did have ideas here of maybe coming in. I thought maybe I could win a pawn. Another option I thought of in this position was something like here. But then they can just block. So not great there. So takes and just trying to disrupt their position. Now, if you come here, I can take, and we're in with a little bit of, I think that's checkmate, actually. What did I say? If you're here, all right, here, but then you can come in this way. I think this is fairly close to what happened in the game. I can't get in anywhere, and yeah, I'm a pawn down. Let's see, D1. Go ahead and switch. What are the plans here, right? Like, we keep asking ourselves, what are the plans? What are the weak squares? We can't take this. It's over defended. So what, our dark squared bishop is terrible? We can't take here because they just take back, and this trade gives them the open file. Trades we should not be trading, but I really felt like I just didn't have a lot of great options. And then now I'm down to 49 seconds. And I'm like, I just don't know what to do in the position. Everything is defended and good. Just do a check for no reason. This check is a big nothing burger. I don't have enough time to calculate, so let's see. I did try for a tricky move here. I wonder if this would not have worked because I would have just checked. So this is kind of, we're kind of losing a piece here. So I just decided to go crazy. This is just a bit of a flail. Takes. The idea was, because I'm an idiot, right? Takes. If they take with the king, I can come in and start kind of harassing the king a bit. Can't go there. I don't know what my plan was, to be perfectly honest. I didn't really have one. They could have did that. Instead, the knight just takes back. And now, they're more than a piece up. I take, guess what? That hangs the dark squared bishop. And so it's not really worth looking at from here. I do get close. My opponent does a good job. This actually was an interesting idea from my opponent. They could just sack the knight. I come in, and they come here, and I can't win this because of that. Instead, they actually go trickier, which I found very interesting. I can't get in here. And they can just walk their stuff. So good on my opponent. Again, this is interesting, right? And I feel like I've seen this before where you just kind of build up. I want to say it's a weird Kali system. I definitely think this is some kind of system opening. I get that it says puzzle training. Okay, so now that we've got the flow of the game, and we see how it went, digging into it a bit more, what could we have done better, knowing what we know now? I think this take is fine, but I think this was wrong. So right now, we now have a pawn break to play for, and we want to make this as strong as possible. Heck, maybe play it now. Just break up the center. Open the lines. I'm not seeing. It's too early in the game, I think, to really tell a difference. But I think this position, it's IQP, sure. But eventually, heck, I could throw this up too. So a little bit more of an open game. Ended up it getting closed down and letting them. And this was another one. I didn't want them to come down one more. Takes, and where does my knight go? My knight can come back here. So it's my own fault for sure for locking it down. This is another situation where, maybe we come here. If they want to push, sure, we can start opening. This pawn is now not up for grabs, but something like this. Heck, maybe here. If they want to trade everything off, we're looking at maybe coming here and just start making the position complicated. Okay. So I allowed it to be way too closed down and not playing for my own pawn breaks. The only real pawn break is here, and am I ready for it? 1, 2. So we go here. Yeah. Yeah, I like this position a bit better. So what, not recognizing? Here. And then they get their pawn break. So looking at the position and seeing what are they playing for, right? I guess that's also part of the complicated parts of higher rated players will look at this and be like, oh, well, they're obviously playing for this pawn break. And looking at it now, it's the only pawn break to be played for. So yeah, they're probably playing for this pawn break. But I wasn't thinking that during the game. I was like, okay, I guess complete development and then start finding pieces to improve. When in reality, right? Let's see, I'm here. I'm ready for the pawn break now. Here. Just start breaking it open. I'm actually looking there now. Oh, well, now we gotta move. Okay. Where do we go now? Maybe something like this. Maybe here, because you don't have a good pawn break anymore, right? This doesn't work. Does it? No. Because this is too well defended. So something like maybe this. Takes. This is now defended. And to be perfectly honest, we're threatening some pretty devastating. So This was a loss. We're going to call it a positional loss, or a not seeing what needed to happen loss, right? This is a bit slow. We wanted to push up, but I didn't want the pawn to just be taken. So this is fine, but okay. And then, after they get their pawn break in, we're kind of just playing white's game. There's this idea is here, but I hate this so much. Not with both of the bishops on the board. Right? Weakening the king like this. Ugh, it's gross. So, playing down a pawn, not the best, but it's got to still be playable. And it's got to be playable in a different way. Right? Nobody plays a perfect game. It's not really worth looking at kind of the ending, but let's go through it a little bit more. Rerouting the knight. Reasonable. Any other reasonable moves? No, because in order to make this bishop better, we need to get the knight out of the way, put it on the long diagonal. Rook to an open file. Another one would maybe be here, but I like the threat better still. You are supposed to... Okay, so here's another one, is you are supposed to, technically, if they have a passed pawn, blockade it with the knight and pile up on it and try and, like, here to here, here. Okay. So this is me not playing the position correctly. The whole goal is we should have kept this here. Instead, we did not play the right game. This is another one. Probably could have just went here. If they take, okay, sure, I now have the open file. I can't... Well, and if they want to come up here, well, now I'm looking at this. Okay. Okay. And these games like this would be a lot easier with a plan, right? Yeah, this bishop isn't great, but it's doing its job. It's here, and it wouldn't be able to do what I wanted it to do anyway, which is get this pawn. So then we maybe come back and reroute again. This might drop this pawn, though. So like something like this. We'd have to... Because I don't think maybe coming up in here, because you're looking at this pawn here. But because we're piling up, maybe something like this, though we are self-pinning the knight. I mean, if we did it anyway, and they took... It's iffy. It's iffy. I don't think it's iffy. I think you're just down 2 pawns with not a lot of compensation. And then here... Okay. So, I think we lost the plot of the game. Played right into our opponent's hands because, back here, I plumb just don't have a lot of time. And that's an issue, right? 2 minutes. This is complicated. This is pretty complicated for 2 minutes, right? Maybe here, check. Nah. Because this is always... I need to get another one. This would be a good one. But I would need one more piece on this pawn to win it back. E8. I think that's fine. F3. We don't want to do this because it's actually attacked twice, so that would just blunder that. This could be interesting. Keeping here. Something like this. Their king is now weaker. I'm looking at coming up with my discovered my thing. So maybe they come here. They block it. It does draw the queen in a little bit more. I don't see here maybe? Takes. So we don't want to do that. We want the open file. Maybe something like this. And then we're in. Or we're in here. You go to protect. Oh, nope. Go to protect. You're just dancing on the light squares, huh? Dancing on the light squares. And what are you at? You're at 2 pawns, so trading queens wouldn't be good. Yeah. Anyway. Okay. So yeah, and this is just us flailing with 11 seconds left and is not worth going over. Let's go over the second game. It's a lot shorter, and I think there's less to dig into. There's probably fine. This I think was good to dig into a little bit about kind of limiting yourself. So if there's one thing that I think I went wrong in this game, it is limiting myself. I got kind of rid of all the pawn breaks that I would want, and then here I did not realize kind of what I should have been playing for, which is a pawn break, which is to open up the position and get better, right? This pawn, I mean, and they might not even have to respond. They could still go here. The problem, no, here takes, here takes, here. You're still winning a pawn. And you're actually winning 2 pawns. Okay, so e5. They still get their pawn break. Here. Do something like this, maybe? Or, and then maybe they come here. Man, and look, it's all So you have this mate threat. How do you can't come this way. And here, here, and here. Talk about an attack brewing. So, was I lost even further back? And you can't and part of the problem is you can't really allow this. Right? I thought of this for a second, but gotcha. Okay. So maybe, but then I mean everything is still really well protected. So then you're looking at this pawn break. What if I come here? Protected. Can't come there. For multiple reasons. Okay. So seeing the fork, because that's why I thought I had to take, right? But I guess not. I guess that basically clears this square as a launching point for the queen, then puts me in a bad position. So this is fine, probably. And checking this, taking maybe's a blunder. Maybe not a blunder. You only lose a pawn. I think this may have been the best move, coach. Just backing it off. Now, I mean, it does suck. Like, we're getting squeezed, and we need to start trading stuff to, like, here. Well, yeah, like here, and it's like, it's super closed, but you gotta kind of prove it to me, right? Because if I come here, I'm looking to come here and take one of your attackers away. There is a pawn break here to kind of relieve the position a bit. Yeah, just took almost a minute to think of this, right? And I did think of here very briefly, but why did I not like it? I think it was because of the push and back here, and everything's kind of just far away. But this pawn is well protected, and you can't mount your light squared attack with my pawns controlling all the light squares. So I think that's something to think about. Yeah, because even the pawn push, right? C7. Say I did the pawn push here, you could still get away with it here. Especially now because, I mean, it's going to be the same thing, right? Here. What did I say? Takes. Here. We've lost the pawn. This pawn's going to fall. We're looking at maybe defending it like this. And then we come around. We're a pawn down, but here. Interesting. Okay, this is going on too long. Let's do we run the computer? Let's run the computer and see kind of how right we are. Okay. Yeah. We'll do a quick computer analysis, see how we are, because this is a 15-10 game. We've analyzed it. I think we found a few problems that we can work on, namely positionally, like knowing or having an idea of what we're looking at or where we want to play in the position, as well as just a few goofs, right? Especially in low time trouble. So, the only problem is I'm pretty sure this isn't going to pop up unless we redo it, and I think I lose my analysis. So let's try and remember. I'm going to do this in real time. Move 6, D7, E5, E5. And then what did we think about each one? H7, we're thinking E5 was good. It opens the position. It attacks the pawn chain. And then this is overall felt like it was better or at least even, a better idea. Okay, and then move 10, we want to see bishop d7. Maybe instead of closing it down, we just continue our development and allow, if they want to take here, a trade of pawns. Not, to me, felt like a big deal. Move 11, e5, and then we wanted to look at e5, e7, and then e7 for 13 after they did their pawn push. No, this was just us looking at stuff, so yeah, we're going to have to reload, and I think, it doesn't look like we lost our everything. Oof. We did not do great, according to the computer. Okay, so yeah, I feel like this was within my opponent's prep. I feel like they play whatever opening this is pretty often. 2 wins, 2 losses. Poor boy. You lose with black, Queen's Pawn game, Indian defense, whatever. Okay, so let's look at it. Are we? Yeah, we're white. Wait a second. Nope, this is the wrong one. This one. Okay, and I played with the 88. Okay, I mean, I played well, just not good. Okay, C5. Oh, slight inaccuracy. We're just going to take it, D5. We have done what we want as black in that we have equalized. Okay. Okay, E5 is fine, but we wanted to see E5. How does that go? Yeah, D takes E5, knight takes E5. And now we're almost a Sicilian-y situation. Well, not really, because they have F3 even. But probably a direction I would go down in the future, just because it's a little more open of a game. This, not super worried about in general. Okay, so H3, E6 is fine, F3. Okay, and we had questions about D7 yeah. Okay. And I think again the idea behind it is this just closes down the position and doesn't let us play for more pawn breaks. This is more flexible. IMO, in my opinion. Okay, so B5. Still, white is having the easier game, I think. Is that point 2? Queen E2, bishop E7. Okay, E4. Really? D takes e4. Knight takes e4. Knight takes e4. That's... You like g6? Gross. Gross. And fine, I get... I don't know. I don't like it. Boo. Any master games here? No. No. Okay, f5. Not great. It drops the pawn. I knew it dropped the pawn. E7. Okay, fine. Rerouting. And then we said we did not like... Knight g6. The computer likes d5. I guess maybe it centralizes and makes it just a really strong piece. What can get this off of here outside of another light square bishop? It also does what I was saying. Oh, this is the critical line I was talking about, remember? And this would not be a great move. Oh, it's even? Oh my gosh. And we're looking at maybe bringing this over. Interesting. I didn't like the idea, so... Okay. Huh? Again, we like the idea of bringing this in. I think in terms of improving moves, maybe. It just improves it. Okay. Rook e8. And we're just saying, we do have a pass pawn, so then the game becomes getting my pass pawn through. Okay, sure. Here. Yeah, this was... Yeah, big nothing burger. Oh, wait, hold on, what? No way was this... Knight g3 check was. That's so funny. Look at that. Look at that. Top engine move. It's dead losing. Okay. What did the computer say about it? G3, F takes G3, X takes G1, King takes D1, Queen D7. Yeah, we had it a bit off. And then honestly, I feel like it's not worth going through it, right? King F4. It's not really worth going through anymore. So now we know a lot of our problems. We kind of were able to identify reasons behind our problems. F5, it sucks, but I was just, this to me feels super gross. And yeah, like something here, Queen F4, or it's just F6 then, Rook E1. And nothing, it's not great. Oof, goodness. Oh, wow. That's hilarious. Anywho, let's look at our second game. Again, it's a lot faster of a game. They resigned in, I felt, a fine position. Oh. Ignore the computer. I didn't realize how bad it was. Okay. Tartakower. This is just what I've played for the longest. I do want to get into the fantasy one day. Takes here, and then this is all like quote-unquote theory. The goal now is for me to rapidly develop my pieces. They're going to develop here, castle, rook comes here, knight comes here, and then this is just the biggest pain in the neck to attack. I feel like in the past, I've trading off pieces, trying to get into the end game. I'm ahead in development right now, and so I want to keep that development. Say they come here and castle, I'm looking at, somehow getting my queen over there. But anyway, D6. And then here, I believe, if I can see the opening tree, H4 is the most common move, and it is super winning for white. Had no idea. King B1, yeah, either one looks fine. I think it's, yeah, and then they push. And this is just a really bad move. Why is it a bad move? So my idea was, if they take back, let's close this. If they take back, I can take back. And then I think in the end, it was something like this was my idea. Now, is this a good idea or a bad idea? I don't know. You can't come back. You can come here, but your queen is under attack, so you have to defend it somehow. But now it's just a little messy, right? And this is probably wrong. I did calculate the idea of coming here, here, giving them this open file, but I would take this one, and I'm looking to come in. Anyway, wow, that just gives up my entire thing. Let's do the computer analysis real fast. This is such a short game. It's hard to really analyze, especially because the only part that I feel like I had any questions about super hard was here, whether or not to take. So we'll have to see. We'll have to see. Look at that, 99% accuracy. So everything was a book move. That's funny. C5. Okay. And then this is what I'm curious about. Takes. Oh, you like taking here. Takes here. You're just a piece up. Dang, I didn't even see that. You gotta play on, my boys. You gotta play on. 'Cause I suck. Or let's see this one. Queen A5. No. Queen C5. And then I was thinking takes here. What about here? Yeah, and then I had the right like continuation, and it's even, and it's what the Carl Khan wants. Lo and behold, takes, or you can take with the knight, but I'm still taking this. Dang. Yo, in this low ELO, you're not as bad as you think. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed the video. We'll talk to y'all later. For more put your money where your mouth is games, where I either lose really badly or my opponent resigns in like 10 minutes. And my opponent jumped off and then jumped right back into a different game. So I guess they knew. They knew more than I did. Had no idea. That's so funny. All right. We'll talk to y'all later.